The big room was quiet. Tall aliens from all over space sat around a huge table. They looked sad and tired. These aliens were part of the Galactic Council, the most powerful group in space. At the head of the table sat Zog, the leader. He was blue and had 3 eyes. Zog looked at his friends and sighed. "Friends, we are in big trouble," he said. Next to him, Blorp, a green blob alien, wiggled sadly. "The Vex are too strong," Blorp said. "We can't stop them." The Vex were mean aliens who wanted to rule all of space. They had big, scary ships and weapons that could destroy planets. For years, they had been attacking Council worlds and winning. Zira, a tall alien with 4 arms, showed pictures on a big screen. The pictures were of broken planets and defeated alien armies. "We lost 3 more planets this week," she said. Her voice was shaky. The room felt heavy with sadness. These aliens had been friends for hundreds of years. They had built great cities in space and helped each other. But now, they were losing everything. "Our best ships are broken," said Kloop, a small furry alien. "Our strongest warriors are tired. What can we do?" Zog stood up. He tried to look brave, but his 3 eyes were full of worry. "We've tried everything," he said. "Our smartest plans, our biggest weapons. Nothing works against the Vex." The aliens started to talk all at once. Some were angry, some were scared. They had ideas, but none of them were good enough. "We could hide," said one. "We should run away," said another. "Maybe the Vex will be nice if we give them gifts," said a third. Zog shook his head. He knew none of these ideas would work. The Vex were too mean, too strong. Blorp oozed sadly in his chair. "I remember when we were happy," he said, "when we built big cities and had fun parties. Now, we're always scared." Zira nodded. "My home planet was beautiful," she said. "Now it's all broken. The Vex don't care about beauty. They just want to destroy." Kloop jumped on the table. His fur was standing up. "We can't give up," he shouted. "We're the Galactic Council. We're supposed to protect everyone." But even Kloop didn't sound sure. The aliens had fought hard, but they were tired. They had used all their tricks, all their smart ideas. Nothing had worked. Zog looked out the big window. He could see stars and planets. Some of those planets were already taken by the Vex. Others were scared, waiting for the Vex to come. "Friends," Zog said quietly, I think we might lose." The room got very quiet. No one had ever heard Zog say something like that before. Zog was always brave, always sure they would win. If Zog thought they might lose, things must be really bad. Blorp started to cry. His green body shook with sobs. Zira patted him with one of her 4 hands, but she looked like she might cry too. Kloop's fur went flat. He sat down on the table, his little legs hanging over the edge. "What will happen to all the aliens who trust us?" he asked. "What will happen to our homes?" No one had an answer. They all knew what the Vex did to planets they caught. They turned beautiful places into factories. They made people work all day. No one was allowed to have fun or be free. "Maybe," Zira said slowly, "maybe we should tell everyone it's over. Tell them to hide or run away." Some aliens nodded. Others looked angry. But they all knew Shura might be right. If they couldn't win, maybe they should save who they could. Zog sat back down. He felt old and tired. "We'll vote tomorrow," he said. "Tonight, think about what's best for everyone." The aliens started to leave. They walked slowly, their heads down. No one was talking or laughing like they used to. Zog stayed in his chair. He looked at the stars again. Somewhere out there, the Vex were planning their next attack. Somewhere out there, scared aliens were hoping the Council would save them. "I'm sorry," Zog whispered to the stars. "We tried our best." Just then, a small light on the table started to blink. A computer made a soft beep sound. Zog looked at it, confused. It was the light for messages from far away. But all their friends were here in the room. Who could be calling? He pressed a button. A voice came out of the computer. It was a voice no one had ever heard before. Hello? Is anyone out there? This is Earth calling. We're new here. Can we join your space club? Zog's 3 eyes went wide. He looked at the stars again. Maybe, just maybe, not all hope was lost. Zog couldn't believe his 3 ears. He pressed the button again. The strange voice repeated, Hello, this is Earth calling. Anyone out there? He jumped up, his blue skin turning purple with excitement. Everyone, come back, he shouted. The other aliens, who were nearly out the door, turned around. What's wrong, Zog? Asked Blorp, oozing back to the table. Listen, Zog said, and he played the message again. The room got very quiet. Then it got very loud. All the aliens started talking at once. Who are Earth? Asked Kloop, his fur standing up again. Where did they come from? Wondered Vsira, all 4 of her arms waving. How did they find us? Blorp bubbled. Zog held up his hands. Quiet, please. We need to think. He turned to a small, robot-like alien in the corner. This was Beep Boop, the Council's computer expert. Beep Boop, can you find where this Earth is? Zog asked. Beep Boop's eyes lit up. His fingers started typing very fast on a floating keyboard. Searching, he said in his robot voice. Everyone waited. Some aliens crossed their fingers. Others held their breath, if they had breath. Found it. Beep Boop finally said. A big map of space appeared on the screen. It zoomed in on a small blue and green planet. That's Earth, said Beep Boop. It's very far away, in a part of space we never looked at before. Vsira studied the planet. It looks nice, she said. Blue like Zog, green like Blorp. But who lives there? Asked Kloop. Are they scary? Are they mean like the Vex? Beep Boop typed some more. Pictures started to appear on the screen. The aliens saw funny-looking creatures with 2 legs, 2 arms, and hair on top of their heads. These are humans, said Beep Boop. They live on Earth. The aliens looked closely at the humans. They saw humans doing all sorts of things. Playing games, building big towers, swimming in oceans, and even flying in small ships. They look interesting, said Blorp. Not scary at all. But how did they find us? Asked Zog. Beep Boop, do they have big spaceships? Advanced computers? Beep Boop shook his head. No, Zog. Their spaceships are very small. They've only gone as far as the moon next to their planet. The aliens were confused. How could these humans, who had never left their own backyard, send a message across space? Just then, the computer beeped again. Another message from Earth. Hello again, said the voice. This is Dr. Jane from Earth. We used our big radio telescope to send this message. We hope someone friendly hears it. We come in peace. Zog looked at his friends. For the first time in a long while, he smiled. Do you know what this means? He asked. The other aliens shook their heads. It means, Zog said, his voice getting excited, that these humans are very clever. They found a way to talk to us before they could even visit us. That's amazing. The room started to buzz with new energy. Aliens were smiling. Some were even laughing. Should we answer them? Asked Vsira. Yes, shouted Kloop, jumping up and down. Let's make new friends. Zog nodded. He went to the computer and pressed the talk button. Hello, Earth, he said. This is Zog from the Galactic Council. We hear you, and we're very happy to meet you. There was a pause. Then the human voice came back. Oh my goodness, said Dr. Jane. We got an answer. This is incredible. Hello, Zog and Galactic Council. The aliens cheered. It was the happiest sound in that room for a long time. Dr. Jane, said Zog, we would like to visit Earth and meet you. Is that okay?" "Yes, please," Dr. Jane answered. "We'd love to meet you. But we don't have ships that can come to you." Zog laughed. It felt good to laugh again. "Don't worry," he said. "We'll come to you. See you soon, new friends." As Zog ended the call, he looked around the room. The aliens weren't sad anymore. They were excited, talking about Earth and humans. Maybe, Zog thought, these humans can help us. Maybe they have ideas we haven't thought of. He didn't know if humans could fight the Vex. He didn't know if they would even want to. But for the first time in a long time, Zog felt something he had almost forgotten. He felt hope. "Get our best ship ready," he told Sarah. "We're going to Earth." As the aliens rushed to prepare, the stars outside seemed to twinkle a little brighter. A new adventure was about to begin, all because Earth said hello. The big alien ship appeared in the sky above Earth. It was shiny and round like a giant flying saucer. People on Earth looked up and gasped. Some were scared, but most were excited. Inside the ship, Zog, Blorp, Xira, and Kloop looked down at the blue planet. "It's so pretty," said Blorp, pressing his green blob face against the window. "Remember," said Zog, "humans have never met aliens before. We must be nice and not scare them." The ship landed in a big field. Lots of people were waiting. There were regular people, scientists, and even some important leaders. Everyone held their breath as the ship's door opened. Zog stepped out first. His blue skin sparkled in the sunlight. Behind him came Blorp, oozing slowly down the ramp. Xira followed, waving with all four arms. Kloop bounced out last, his fur fluffed up with excitement. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then a woman stepped forward. She had curly hair and glasses. "Hello," she said with a big smile. "I'm Dr. Jane. Welcome to Earth." Zog bowed politely. "Hello, Dr. Jane. I'm Zog, leader of the Galactic Council. These are my friends. We're very happy to be here." Suddenly, everyone started clapping and cheering. The aliens looked surprised, then happy. They waved at the crowd. A man in a suit came up. He looked very important. "I'm the president," he said. "On behalf of all humans, we're glad you're here. Would you like a tour of our city?" "Yes, please," said Kloop, bouncing up and down. The aliens followed the humans into the city. They saw tall buildings, cars zooming by, and lots of people doing everyday things. Everything was new and exciting for the aliens. "What's that smell?" asked Blorp, as they passed a building. "That's a pizza place," said Dr. Jane. "Would you like to try some?" The aliens looked confused but nodded. Soon, they were all sitting in the pizza place. The cook brought out a big, cheesy pizza. Zog took a bite, and his 3 eyes went wide. "This is amazing," he said. The other aliens tried it too. They loved it, even though Blorp had trouble holding the slice with his blobby body. As they ate, humans asked the aliens lots of questions. Where did they come from? What was space like? Did they have pets on their planets? The aliens were happy to answer. They told stories about their homes and adventures in space. The humans listened with big smiles and wide eyes. Then Xira noticed something. Many humans were holding small devices and pointing them at the aliens. "What are those?" she asked. "Oh, these are phones," said a young human. "We use them to take pictures and videos. And to watch cat videos." "Cat videos?" asked Kloop. "What's a cat? What's a video?" The young human grinned and held up his phone. He showed the aliens a video of a fluffy cat trying to fit into a small box. The aliens were amazed. They laughed and asked to see more. Soon, everyone was showing the aliens funny videos. Even the president was sharing his favorite dog videos. As the day went on, the aliens saw more of Earth. They rode on a bus, visited a park, and even went to a music concert. Everywhere they went, humans were friendly and excited to meet them. At the end of the day, The aliens and human leaders had a big meeting. They talked about becoming friends and working together. "Humans are so interesting," said Zog. "You've never been to space, but you've done so many cool things on your planet." The president nodded. "We're curious about everything. We always want to learn and try new things." Dr. Jane added, "And we love solving problems. It's what humans do best." The aliens looked at each other. They were thinking the same thing. Maybe these humans could help with their big problem. Zog took a deep breath. "Friends," he said, "we have something important to tell you. We came to Earth not just to say hello, but because we need help." He told the humans about the Vex, the mean aliens who were hurting everyone in space. He explained how the Galactic Council was losing hope. The humans listened carefully. When Zog finished, the room was quiet for a moment. Then the president stood up. "Zog," he said, "Earth may be new to space stuff, but we want to help. Humans don't like bullies, even if they're from space." Dr. Jane nodded. "We can't promise we'll beat the Vex, but we promise to try our best. Humans are good at thinking in new ways. Maybe we can find a solution no one has thought of yet." The aliens felt happy and relieved. They hadn't known what to expect from Earth, but they found new friends and new hope. As the meeting ended, Zog smiled at the humans. "Thank you," he said. "We're glad we said hello to Earth. Now, can we have more pizza before we go home?" Everyone laughed. It was the start of a great friendship between Earth and the stars. After the aliens' visit to Earth, things changed fast. The Galactic Council decided to teach humans about space stuff. They sent their best teachers to Earth. One sunny morning, a big class started in a new building called the Space School. Dr. Jane and many other smart humans were there to learn. Zog, Blorp, Xura, and Kloop were the teachers. "Today," said Zog, "we'll start with space travel." He showed a picture of the alien spaceship. It was shiny and had no wings. "Our ships use something called gravity bubbles to fly," Zog explained. The humans looked confused. Dr. Jane raised her hand. "But how does that work?" "We use rockets." Blorp oozed to the front of the class. "Watch this," he said. He took out a small ball and pressed a button. Suddenly, the ball floated up. "Wow," said the humans. They had never seen anything like it. "The ball makes a tiny gravity bubble," said Blorp. "It pushes against Earth's gravity. Our big ships do the same thing, but stronger." The humans wrote notes quickly. They asked many questions. Some even started drawing plans for new kinds of spaceships. Next, Xura taught about space weapons. But these weren't like guns or bombs. She showed a strange-looking glove. "This is a freeze ray," she said. She pointed the glove at a glass of water. "Zap." The water turned to ice instantly. "Cool," said a young scientist. Everyone laughed at the joke. Xura smiled. "Yes, very cool. We use these to stop enemy ships without hurting anyone." The humans were amazed. Their weapons usually destroyed things. This was much better. Kloop's turn was next. His lesson was about talking to aliens from far away. He brought out a small, shiny box. "This is a universal translator," he said. "It helps us understand any language in space." He spoke into the box in his alien language. The box made a funny noise, then said in perfect English, "Hello, Earth friends." The humans clapped. A translator said, "This will make talking to aliens much easier." As the days passed, the humans learned more and more. They found out about space food, alien computers, and even how to make special suits for walking on any planet. But the humans didn't just listen. They also had ideas of their own. One day, a human named Tom raised his hand. "I was thinking," he said, "what if we combine your gravity bubbles with our rocket engines?" The aliens looked surprised. They had never thought of that. Tom went to the board and drew a picture. "See, we could use rockets to go really fast, then switch to gravity bubbles to stop quickly and move in any direction." Zog's 3 eyes blinked in surprise. That's brilliant, he said. We never mixed technologies like that before. Another human, Sarah, had an idea about the freeze ray. What if we make it shoot sticky goo instead of ice? She asked. We could stick enemy ships together. Zira laughed and clapped her 4 hands. Oh, I like that. It's funny and clever. Day after day, the humans came up with new ideas. They mixed Earth knowledge with alien technology in ways no one had tried before. The aliens were amazed. Zog said to Dr. Jane, "You humans learn so fast, and you think of such strange, wonderful ideas." Dr. Jane smiled. "That's what humans are good at," she said. "We like to mix things up and try new stuff." 1 month after the space school started, the humans were ready to show what they learned. They held a big show for the aliens and Earth leaders. Tom showed off a new spaceship design. It had both rockets and gravity bubbles, just like he suggested. It could fly faster and turn quicker than any ship in space. Sarah demonstrated her new goo gun. It shot silly string that could tangle up bad guys without hurting them. Everyone laughed when she covered a test dummy in colorful strings. There were many other cool inventions too. New space suits that could change color to match any planet. Tiny robots that could fix ships from the inside. Even a machine that could make pizza in space. At the end of the show, Zog stood up to speak. He looked at all the humans with their new space inventions. His 3 eyes were shiny with happiness. "My friends," he said, "when we came to Earth, we hoped you might help us a little. But you have done so much more. You've taken our space stuff and made it better in ways we never imagined." The president nodded. "Humans may be new to space," he said, "but we're quick learners, and we're ready to help our new alien friends however we can." Zog smiled. "Well then," he said, "I think it's time. Time for humans to join us in space. Are you ready for your first real space mission?" The humans cheered so loudly, it seemed like the whole Earth was saying yes. As everyone celebrated, Dr. Jane looked up at the stars. Soon, humans would be out there, exploring and helping. It was the start of a big adventure, all because humans were good at learning space stuff. The day had finally come. Humans were going to space with their new alien friends. A team of brave humans, led by Dr. Jane, joined Zog and his crew on a big spaceship. As they flew through space, Dr. Jane looked out the window. "It's so beautiful," she said, seeing all the stars. Suddenly, alarms started beeping. Zog rushed to the control room. "Bad news," he said. "The Vex are attacking a nearby planet." Everyone got scared. This was serious. The humans had trained hard, but they had never been in a real space fight before. Zog looked at Dr. Jane. "We need to help. Are you ready?" Dr. Jane took a deep breath and nodded. "We're ready. Let's go." The ship zoomed towards the planet. As they got closer, they saw many Vex ships. They were big and scary, shooting lasers at the planet. "What do we do?" asked Tom, one of the human crew members. Zog started to answer, but Dr. Jane spoke up. "I have an idea," she said. "Remember those space rocks we saw earlier?" Zog looked confused. "Yes, but what about them?" Dr. Jane grinned. "Let's use the gravity bubbles to throw them at the Vex ships." The aliens were shocked. They had never used space rocks as weapons before, but they trusted the humans' crazy ideas. "Okay," said Zog. "Let's try it." Their ship flew back to the space rocks. Using the gravity bubbles, they picked up huge rocks. Then, like a giant slingshot, they flung the rocks at the Vex ships. Boom! Crash! The rocks smashed into the Vex ships. The bad aliens were so surprised. They didn't know what to do. "It's working," shouted Blorb, his green body wiggling with excitement. But the Vex weren't beaten yet. They started shooting back. "Watch out," yelled Sarah. A laser beam nearly hit their ship. That's when Sarah remembered her invention. "Quick," she said. "Let's use the goo gun." Zog nodded. Sarah aimed the goo gun out of the ship's window. She fired, and a huge blob of sticky goo shot towards the Vex ships. Splat! The goo covered 3 Vex ships, sticking them together. They couldn't move or shoot anymore. Yay! Cheered Kloop, bouncing around the ship. Human ideas are the best. The fight wasn't over, though. There were still many Vex ships left. They started to surround Zog's ship. "We need help," said Zog. He pressed a button to call other Galactic Council ships. But Dr. Jane had another idea. "Wait," she said. "What if we use the universal translator to confuse them?" Everyone looked at her, wondering what she meant. Dr. Jane explained, "We can send them lots of silly messages in different languages. It might mix up their computers." Zog's 3 eyes went wide. "That's so crazy, it might work." They turned on the universal translator and started sending all sorts of funny messages to the Vex ships. "Your shoelaces are untied." In one alien language. "I love pizza." In another. "Do you want to build a snowman?" In yet another. The Vex ships started to act strange. They moved in weird ways, bumping into each other. Their lasers shot in the wrong directions. "It's working," shouted Tom. "Their computers are all confused." Just then, more ships appeared, but these weren't Vex ships. The Galactic Council had arrived to help. Together, Zog's ship, the human crew, and the Council ships chased away the Vex. The planet was saved. As the Vex ships ran away, everyone cheered. Aliens and humans hugged each other, jumping up and down with joy. Zog turned to Dr. Jane and the human crew. All 3 of his eyes were shining with happiness. "You did it," he said. "Your crazy human ideas saved the day." Dr. Jane smiled. "We all did it together," she said. "Humans and aliens working as a team." As they flew back home, everyone talked excitedly about the fight. The aliens were amazed by how the humans thought of such unusual ideas. "Using space rocks as weapons. Brilliant," said Syra. "And that goo gun. So funny and effective," added Blorb. "Don't forget the silly messages," laughed Kloop. "I've never seen ships so confused." The humans felt proud. They had faced their first space fight and done well. They had shown that sometimes thinking differently could solve big problems. When they got back to Earth, there was a big party. Everyone wanted to hear about the brave humans and their first space fight. The president gave a speech. "Today," he said, "humans prove that we belong among the stars. We may be new to space, but we're quick learners and good friends." Zog nodded in agreement. "The Vex are still out there," he said, "but with humans on our side, I think we have a real chance of beating them." As the party went on, Dr. Jane looked up at the stars again. She thought about their adventure and smiled. Humans had a lot more to learn about space, but they had made a good start. And who knew what other crazy, wonderful ideas they might come up with next? After their first big space fight, humans became a big part of the Galactic Council. Earth sent its best and brightest to help. Scientists, inventors, and even kids with big imaginations all joined in. One day, Zog called a big meeting. Aliens from all over the galaxy came. Humans were there too. They all sat in a huge room with stars shining through the windows. "Friends," said Zog, "the Vex are still causing trouble. We need new ideas to stop them." Dr. Jane stood up. "On Earth," she said, "we have a saying. 2 heads are better than 1. Maybe if we all work together, we can come up with something great." Everyone agreed. They split into teams, each with aliens and humans working side by side. In one corner, Tom was talking to Blorb. "You know," said Tom, "our spacesuits are kind of boring. What if we made them change colors?" Blorb wiggled excitedly. "Ooh, like camouflage." "Yeah," said Tom, "but even better. They could match any planet or spaceship. We'd be hard to see." They got to work right away. Soon, they had a new suit that could turn any color. Tom put it on and pressed a button. Zap! He looked just like the starry window behind him. Amazing, said Blorp. The Vex won't know what hit them. Across the room, Sarah was working with Zira. They were looking at space guns. These are good, said Sarah, but they use up power too fast. Zira nodded her forearms. True. In long fights, we sometimes run out of shots. Sarah thought hard. Then she snapped her fingers. I've got it. What if we use something that never runs out? Like light. Zira looked confused. Light? How can light be a weapon? Sarah grinned. Not a weapon. A defender. We can make shields out of light. They worked for hours. Finally, they had a small device. Sarah turned it on, and a glowing bubble appeared around her. See, she said, her voice slightly muffled. Light shields. They bounce back any shots fired at us. Zira clapped all four hands. Brilliant. We'll be safe and save power too. Meanwhile, a young human girl named Lily was talking to Kloop. Mr. Kloop, she said, why do spaceships have to be so big? Kloop's fur ruffled thoughtfully. Well, we need room for people, and engines and food. Lily shook her head. But what if we made tiny ships? Ships so small, the Vex couldn't even see them. Kloop's eyes went wide. Tiny ships. But how would they work? Lily pulled out her tablet. She showed Kloop pictures of small things on Earth. Bees, hummingbirds, even tiny robots. See, she said, small things can do big jobs. Kloop bounced with excitement. Oh, we could make a whole fleet of tiny ships. They could fly inside big Vex ships and stop them from the inside. Soon, Lily and Kloop had designed a swarm of microships. Each one was no bigger than a bee, but packed with alien tech and human creativity. As the day went on, more and more cool ideas came up. Someone made a gun that shot bubble gum to gum up Vex engines. Another team created space boots that could walk on any surface, even upside down. One of the funniest ideas came from a human cook and an alien gardener. They made a stink bomb using smelly Earth foods and stinky alien plants. The Vex won't be able to stand the smell. They laughed. At the end of the day, everyone gathered to share their ideas. The room was full of excited chatter and laughter. Zog looked around, his 3 eyes shining with joy. This, he said, is more than I ever hoped for. Humans, you've taken our technology and made it better in ways we never imagined. Dr. Jane smiled. That's what humans do best, she said. We mix things up, think outside the box, and aren't afraid to try silly ideas. The president nodded. And we're not done yet, he said. Every day, more humans are coming up with new ways to help. Kids in schools are drawing pictures of new spaceships. Scientists are working day and night. Even grandmas are knitting special space blankets. Everyone cheered. The aliens were amazed at how quickly humans had learned about space and how many great ideas they had. As the meeting ended, Zog made an announcement. Thanks to our human friends, he said, we're no longer losing hope. Now we have a real chance against the Vex. Tomorrow, we start making all these wonderful new things. As everyone left, talking excitedly about the future, Dr. Jane looked out at the stars again. She remembered how scared they were during their first space fight. Now, they were full of hope and new ideas. Humans really do make things better, she thought. Not just things, but the whole galaxy. We're turning strangers into friends and fear into courage. With a smile, she turned to join the others. There was a lot of work to do, but with humans and aliens working together, anything was possible. The Vex wouldn't know what hit them. The big day had come. After months of planning and building, it was time to face the Vex. The Galactic Council's fleet, now full of human inventions, gathered near a planet the Vex were attacking. Zog stood on the bridge of the main ship. Around him were aliens and humans, all working together. Dr. Jane stood next to them, looking both scared and excited. "Are we ready?" Zog asked. Dr. Jane nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be. Let's do this." Zog pressed a button. His voice boomed across all the ships. "Friends, today we fight for the galaxy. Remember our plan, and may the stars be with us." The fleet moved forward. Soon, they saw the Vex ships. There were hundreds of them, all big and scary. But the Council wasn't scared anymore. They had secret weapons, human ideas. "Okay, Tom," said Zog. "You're up first." Tom grinned and pressed a button. Suddenly, all their ships seemed to disappear. They were using the color-changing technology he and Blorp had made. The Vex looked confused. They couldn't see the Council ships anymore. "Now, Sarah," Dr. Jane called. Sarah activated the light shields. Glowing bubbles appeared around all their ships. When the Vex started shooting, their lasers just bounced off. "Our turn," said Lily, the young girl who had thought of tiny ships. She and Kloop launched their swarm of microships. Thousands of tiny ships, each no bigger than a bee, flew towards the Vex. They looked like a cloud of space dust. The Vex didn't even notice them. But these little ships were tough. They flew inside the Vex ships through tiny gaps. Once inside, they started causing trouble. They cut wires, pressed buttons, and made the Vex ships go crazy. Some Vex ships started spinning in circles. Others flew into each other. It was like a funny dance in space. "Great job, Lily," Zog said. The little girl beamed with pride. But the Vex weren't beaten yet. They still had lots of ships. And they were angry now. "Time for the big surprise," said Dr. Jane. She looked at a group of humans and aliens wearing headphones. "Hit it." The group started playing music. But this wasn't ordinary music. It was a special mix of Earth songs and alien sounds. They blasted it into space, right at the Vex ships. At first, nothing happened. Then the Vex ships started to shake. Their computers couldn't handle the weird music. It was messing up all their systems. Vex ships started dancing to the beat. Some spun like tops, others bobbed up and down. It was the funniest thing anyone had ever seen in space. "It's working," shouted Blorp, his green body jiggling with laughter. But a few Vex ships were still fighting. They were tough and angry. "Okay," said Zog. "Time for the last trick." "Ready, Chef." A human in a chef's hat nodded. He and his alien friend pressed a big red button. Suddenly, giant space cannons appeared on the Council ships. But these didn't shoot lasers. Oh no, they had something much worse. Splat, splat, splat. The cannon shot huge globs of stinky goo. It was made from smelly Earth foods and stinky alien plants. It covered the Vex ships in thick, smelly slime. The Vex couldn't take it anymore. Their ships turned around and zoomed away as fast as they could. Some of them were still dancing to the music as they left. Everyone on the Council ships cheered. Humans and aliens hugged each other, laughing and crying with joy. They had done it. They had beaten the Vex. Zog turned to Dr. Jane, all three of his eyes wet with happy tears. "You did it," he said. "Humans saved the day." Dr. Jane smiled. "We all did it," she said. "Humans and aliens, working together. That's what made the difference." As they flew back home, everyone celebrated. They sang Earth songs and danced alien dances. The ship's cook even made a giant pizza for everyone to share. When they reached Earth, there was a huge party. People from all over the planet cheered for their space heroes. The president gave a big speech. "Today," he said, "humans prove that we belong in space. We used our creativity, our humor, and our friendship to make the galaxy a better place." Zog nodded. "The Galactic Council has made a decision," he said. "We want to offer Earth a permanent place on the Council. Will you join us?" The president looked at Dr. Jane and all the other humans who had helped. They all nodded excitedly. "We would be honored," said the president. As fireworks lit up the sky, Dr. Jane looked up at the stars. She thought about all that had happened. Humans had gone from knowing nothing about space to saving the galaxy. And they did it not with big weapons, but with silly, creative ideas. That's the real human superpower, she thought. We don't just think outside the box. We color it, reshape it, and turn it into something amazing. And so, a new age began. Humans and aliens working together to explore the galaxy and help others. There would be more adventures, more challenges, and definitely more weird inventions. But that was okay. Because now they knew that together, they could handle anything the universe threw at them. All because humans helped make things better.